Hi, welcome back to Thrift and Pick Country Style, and we're going to look at some more items from the auction that I went to on Saturday, July the 11th. So here's a picture of what the auction tables look like. These were box lots for the most part. They had furniture and other things, but my interest would lie in the box lots. So we're going to show you a few more things that we picked up there. And I'd like to kind of preface this with a little bit of how I sell things and why I do it. I've been on eBay since 1998, and I started with Beanie Babies, and I made pretty good money. And I have, off and on through the years, I have done well, and I have backed off and let it rest for a while. That's one of the things that I really, really love about eBay, is that you can make those kind of choices for yourself when you aren't looking for a full-time business, but maybe part-time income or supplemental income, in our case right now, for Social Security, and it works fine for me. One of the boxes that I picked up for $1, and if you'll recall from my last video, this was an auction where at the end of the auction they were selling off major amounts of boxes with pretty much good stuff in it for $1 a box, or maybe $1 for 2 or 3 boxes. And I ended up buying 7 boxes for $57. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. One of the boxes was full of playing cards. And I don't know if you're familiar with how playing cards sell, but for me, some of them can sell pretty well. So I'm not going through the whole box for you, but I'm just going to give you a little lesson on what I look for when I buy playing cards and what their value might be in my market. There were probably 50 double decks and decks of playing cards. The very first thing I would look for when I go through a box or a bunch of playing cards is 100% plastic cards. And I found 2 decks of them, or 2 packages. One has a single deck and one has a double deck. And why would you say would I want 100% plastic? Because they sell well. This is another thing I'd like to tell you. Please don't ever put a rubber band on your cards, because as they age, the rubber band will stick and mar the card. If you have to put something on them, just put a piece of plastic around them and tape it where they don't get next to the cards. These are 100% plastic cards. They're by Gemco. Last March, I sold a deck and a half. I sold a double deck for $30, and I sold a single deck for $25, both to the same buyer. So that was a profitable little thing right there. Now keep in mind that this box only cost me $1. Another thing I look for is some kind of themes. Now I don't believe that these cards came in this box, but they're really cute. They're plastic coated, and they're Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Ann cards. And they're all there. I always go through my decks and put them in order and make sure that they're all there. It takes a little time, but at least I don't have the problem of getting them back because they weren't all there. These, I believe, were made by Hallmark. And one of the things that I look for at first when I go to look at a deck of cards is to look at the joker. Oftentimes they will have the maker on it, and sometimes they'll even have the copyright, and they'll have where they were made. Excuse me. So those are keepers. These are definitely from the 1950s. They are in the old plastic cases. They're bridge decks, and they're very collectible. I'm not sure how much I'll put on them. I do have to do some research, and I haven't been through them yet to make sure they're all there. These are all plastic coated ones now. This is another set of plastic coated cards that I pulled out simply because they were in very nice condition and they were very, very unusual. Some of the other things that I might look for are uniqueness. Here's a round deck of cards. I'm sure they're plastic coated. Somebody who's collecting them might like those. One from Cracker Barrel. Here's a low vision deck. Here's a giant face deck And here's a brand new deck that hasn't been broken. The seal hasn't. Some collectors will even buy these. I will remind you that these were probably at one time all bridge decks, because looking at the amount of cards and how they were used inside the box, they were almost all double decks. Here's a Coca-Cola deck, and there's just a whole lot of other ones that are really cool and nice. Now there's also cards in this deck that aren't necessarily special in themselves, and I also have two of these table covers. And in the 1950s and 60s, when bridge was hot and everybody was learning to do it, along with canasta and samba and a few other double deck cards, these bridge tops covers were really nice because they gave all the information on how to bid. So lots of times if you were teaching a class or something like that, this would come in really handy for new players. So I will probably clean these up, and then I will package 2 or 3 decks with them of some of the cards that are attractive but not particularly special, and sell them that way. Who knows, maybe it'll make me $35 or $40. Remember, my price point on anything I'm looking at is usually $35. Now, if you'll recall yesterday, I had told you I had a box that I had already sold 2 things out of. One was the little wooden statues, and one was the Neiman Marcus yo-yo. $41 for the yo-yo and $55 for the 2 statues. Now, this is a $1 box. Keep that in mind. I've already listed these. These are glass grapes. They're blown glass, and they're studio glass, made by an artisan. Well, an artisan, I guess, would just be wet, wouldn't it? But anyway, they're very pretty. They're turquoise or teal blue. One of them has a leaf, and one of them does not. So I've already listed these. I have them listed at $35. I do sell a lot of glass fruit and vintage fruit. Just about everything I have is vintage or collectibles. I don't do well with retail arbitrage, just simply because modern things don't sell for me, and my tagline is, we sell memories, keepsakes, and treasures, because a lot of things will just bring back a memory or something grandma had or something mom had, and people will buy them because of that. So I've already got these up, and this is out of the same $1 box. Now keep that in mind. I have 2 little Delft blue, and these were ashtrays. So in the days when you were playing bridge, you might have used these for ashtrays, because they really, really use pretty ashtrays and all kinds of neat things at the bridge table. So I have the 2 little Delft blue clogs. They're already up on eBay. I think I have $25 on them. They're marked on the bottom. Another thing that I have is a pair of pretty canister jars. One has the geese on it. Hope you can see that all right, because I can't see the camera. And one of them has the pheasants. The canister is Limoges. It's made in Paris, France, and marked on the bottom. I have this one up on auction, but I'm going to have to trash this one because it has a huge crack all the way up. And I do not sell anything that's chipped or cracked. If I can avoid it, I don't even try to sell it, because I don't like to get things like that myself. So this is going to go in the trash can. I'm not even going to recycle it. The rest of the things in this box were some more of the little Delft blue items, a pincushion, I guess, or an angel, 3 brass ducks, and a lot of cool little miniatures here. I'll probably group the miniatures together by type. There's a snail and a pig, and it looks like we've got 3. No, there's 4 salt shakers. So I haven't looked at this box yet. A couple of mice. So and some little tiny miniature clogs like we have the large one. So I'll probably just group these in 2 or 3 groupings and probably put $25, $35 a piece on them. So I've already made money off of this box with the others, so I'm not too concerned about how much I get for these, but still $35 is my price point, and that's what I always aim for. Now at the same auction, I'm going to put these out of the way because I'm running out of space here. Okay, I found this Reed and Barton marked on the bottom, but I don't think you can read the marking. There. I don't know if this is going to show up or not. I'll have to take a look. There you go. I guess you could call it a fondue pot. I'm sure it has other kinds of uses besides that, even as a table warmer. It has a little burner here. Very nice piece. I haven't researched it yet, but I'm thinking I'll probably ask $75 for it with best offer. Nice piece. And in that same box, weighs a ton, is this Clairol Kindness Deluxe 3-Way Hair Setter, and it's all there. I don't know what all there means, but everything that's supposed to be there is there, including a bottle of custom care, etc. I haven't researched this either, but this is in another, these two and the other things I'm going to show you here are in another dollar box. So I'm really, had a really good experience. Okay, this is a Giorgio bag that was probably a promotion, and it's a nice bag, but it's not very clean on the interior, so I doubt very seriously if I will put it up for auction, because there again, my price point is $35. It wouldn't be hard to pack because it would fold up and go in a plastic bag, but if I can't clean up the interior, I probably won't sell it. If I can clean up the interior, then I will probably put $25 on it, although the similar bags aren't going very high on eBay. So let's talk a bit, while I'm getting these other things out, let's talk a little bit about how I price things. The first thing I do is I do a lot of research, not necessarily just for pricing, but to find out about things, because I think when you're selling memories, keepsakes, and treasures, it helps if you know a little bit about things. So what era are they from? What memories do they bring to your mind? And so forth. And then I price things accordingly, depending on their condition, which I want to be excellent, and depending on demand, which I'd like to be fast, like the statues and the yo-yo were.